Hello, you are listening to Cali Chats, a healthy living podcast with a goal of helping you find true happiness within your mind, body, and soul. I'm Jessie Cali, and it is time to get real. Hello, everyone, and welcome back to another episode of Cali Chats. And a special welcome to the first episode of the 3-part series. This is 30. So first things first, before I get started, I am currently recording from my boyfriend's best friend's house, and it's a new place for me to record. So apologies if the sound quality is off in any way, but with this new handy-dandy mic, I think we will be just fine. And yes, to catch you up, I did just say my boyfriend. I have been dating this wonderful man named Eric the last 4 months, and we are currently on a trip in Pennsylvania to visit with his friends, my friends, and then end it off with a big old celebration for my best friend, Megan. Hey, Megan. She listens. She's one of my number one listeners. She's finally getting to have her dream wedding, so we are all very excited, and I can't wait to celebrate. Yay! All right, back to This is 30. Now, you may be wondering why the series is called This is 30 and why now? You know, since I don't look a day over 26, that is exactly why you're curious. Just kidding. That was a cheesy joke. Anyway, this lovely month of July marks the special event of my 30th birthday. And let me tell you, I've only slightly been wigging out over this for the last, 2 years? Ask any of my friends. I've just been like, I'm so close to 30. Ugh. Yeah, you heard me right. Only slightly. It's been a weird, but exciting time. I can't help but feel a little old when I see these kids that I used to babysit walking around drinking beer now. I actually was at a Redbirds game, which is the AAA league in Memphis for baseball. And I saw one of these kids I used to babysit, and he was drinking. And I was like, wait, what? What year are we in? How old am I? That is the weird part of all of this. Like, what? When did that happen? And where did my 20s go? But there are some exciting parts, so let's get on to those. I do choose to believe, probably like every other late 20s, early 30s human, that my 30s will be the best years yet. Yeah, you heard me, best years yet. I mean, honestly, I've finally found the perfect way to apply my makeup, and I found a skincare routine that works, and I'm not as pimply as I was back in my teens and my 20s. And hey, I'm healthy. I've gotten back to a good health area. How do I say that? Like, I don't want to say weight because I don't always look at the number. I just try to feel strong and look better and fit better in my clothes. So, I'm healthy. And you have the entirety of my 20s to thank for all of that. Seriously. Trust me, my face has been through it, okay? I had a bad bout with acne. Yeah, that stage was pretty bad. One of the worst. So I'm glad I've kissed that one goodbye. Bye-bye, pimples. So there are a couple more things I'm especially thankful for. And while I'm on this thanking my 20s tour, I would like to talk about that too. One of the other big things I did find out is that I am not, in fact, crazy. Some of y'all are there like, yeah, okay, check again. You know, my emotions and feelings are completely common and normal to have, as are yours. Bless it. You and your feelings are completely normal. We have got to be thankful to the mental health awareness that's taken place in the last 10 years. Lord, without therapy and some key people in my life, I definitely would not be where I am today in my growth. So a big old high five to my 20s. Speaking of that, another big thing I'm thankful for is the Me Too movement. I mean, wow, what a moving time that was in our world. There were so many people banding together and finally fighting back. And as most of you know, and for those of you who don't, a big part of my story is my battle with mental health, specifically my depression and trauma that relates to being sexually assaulted. That is something I definitely want to dig into further in a future episode, but for now, I want to wrap that back up and let you know that you are not alone. That was a big key of the Me Too movement. It showed how many have been affected and are still battling that trauma today and just trying to get through it one step at a time. I've done a lot of work on myself to get to where I am today, to have the positive outlook that I do have. And you can do that too. I promise. Oh, on a brighter note, well, actually, I don't know if we could really call it a brighter note, but on a less intense note, I also learned who not to date. I mean, who else is dating out there? It is terrible. I am very lucky to have found Eric because it was getting to be bad out there. Man, I have dated too many people at this point. I have bad date stories just stockpiled up and ready to go whenever the time calls for it. And I'm very lucky to have troubleshooted my way through all the bleh and found myself one of the good ones. Thank you, Eric. If you're listening to this, he better listen to this. So now that we've gotten the thanking tour over, let's keep trucking on. So, fun fact. A few months ago, I stumbled upon a gem. A real gem. What did I find? I found a blog post I wrote way back when in February of 2014. 2014. Guys, that was a long time ago. I guess it was a blog I was going to start, and I just never really started it. But it was called This Is Just the Beginning. ... It had 3 dots after it. It had one solo published blog post. You can still find it today. It was called Day 1. And man, it felt like going back in time. I literally, when I read this, I felt like I was digging up a time capsule. Mind you, this was just a few months shy of my graduation day from LSU, where I would be finishing up my college career and starting my new life, whatever that was going to be. At that point, I had no idea what that was going to be. I thought it'd be fun to read through the blog and then walk through how crazy it is. I mostly today am here on this podcast to thank my 20s and also give some advice to those still navigating theirs. Next week, we're going to dig further into some advice that you would give to a younger you, and then also some advice that I would give as well. I actually asked last week, it was a couple weeks ago on my Instagram and Facebook for listener input on that, and it was super cool to see the responses. I can't wait to share them with you all and give my input too. So without further ado, that 7-year-old blog post written by a younger me. Please go easy on me. I was just so excited, okay? This was young wee child Jessie. So, here we go. This is old Jessie. So I've decided to write a blog, more like a journal. Something for me to get my thoughts out and make sense of this crazy 2014 year. All right, well, here it goes. Growing up, I've realized the importance of cherishing each and every day. For me, that's staying in touch with old friends, making new friends, and being someone my friends can go to in times of need. Wow. This is modern day Jessie. Does that not sound exactly like my current blog? I guess I haven't changed that much. Okay, continuing. You are who you hang out with, and I wouldn't be the woman I am today without some key influences in my life. My parents, my family, and my friends. As cliche as that sounds, I really do mean it. Now, with my whole life ahead of me, I'm looking into my future, wondering what it holds. It's kind of scary, but I'm incredibly anxious to see what my life has in store for me. I would absolutely love to start out in a new city, meet new people, make a name for myself. However, I'm stuck in this limbo phase of job searching and not knowing. This stage has been full of so many emotions. I'm just so excited to get started, and this is only the beginning. I wouldn't be where I am today without my parents. They always instilled key traits in me like adaptability and work ethic, but also stressed the importance of keeping an open mind and to reach for the stars. Nothing was out of reach for me in their eyes. So my whole life I've been chasing my dreams, trying and failing, trying and achieving. Every accomplishment comes from making that decision to try. With failures, you can learn from what you did wrong and try your best the next time. So as I'm on this journey through life, I can't help but feel happy. I have no idea where I'll be next year or even in a few months, but I am confident that everything will work out in the end. With only a few months left of college, I get so many different emotions. It's very bittersweet. Sometimes I just want to fast forward and get my career started. On the other side, I just want to take it all in while I can, because one day I will for sure miss it. I mean, I already do miss it a little, and I'm still here. Hopefully, writing this all out will help me to understand all the crazy things my life has in store for me. Thoughts and prayers appreciated. Jessie. Ah! How crazy is that? It's so weird to hear something from you ages ago. I don't know about you, but I feel like I was pretty mature for my age, if I must say so myself. Just a wee 22-year-old child back then. It's crazy. I look back at this and I see how confused and scared I was to start my new life, whatever that was going to be. At this point, I had been job searching and just really crushing it, trying to get a job, and nothing was panning out at the time. Lots of interviews, but no bites. And you go through that phase of wondering, like, am I ever going to get a job? They keep asking for all this experience, but like I don't have any, other than going to college and having my Subway job or my Justice job, Justice Tween Brands, shout out. So it was super, super scary, and I didn't know what my life was going to hold. But you can see that I was excited. I was nervous, but I was still excited, wondering what that was going to be. I was really lucky a few months later, actually, to score a entrance into a company and get into their marketing and sales development program. So that was awesome. Without knowing that, I did keep going, and I ended up getting a great opportunity. So I moved myself up to Pittsburgh, then moved myself to Baltimore, and now I'm back in Tennessee. So you can see that, like, if you put effort into everything that you do, you will get there. Anyone out there that is either starting college or maybe you're in college, trying to find a job, or you just started a job and you want to start a new one, or whatever you're going through, just remember, if you have a goal and if you focus your path, you're going to get there. So further on that, I bet you're probably wondering what I've learned. And that's going to walk us into our final segment of today's episode. So real quick, I'm just going to run through some of the big rocks, and we can get to the gravel in the next episode in the This Is 30 series. Y'all are probably like, what? What are rocks? What are these big rocks you're talking about? I don't know, man. I learned about this in a leadership training way back when I got into that, development program. We had a leadership training, and there's big rocks, aka main points, and then there's gravel, which is like looking at the little details versus the big picture. And so we're going to actually look at the big picture, the big rocks, instead of all the little details today and smaller things. That way, next week we have something to dig into further, and we'll have plenty of time to do it. So here we go. Don't take things so personally. Wow. That is probably the biggest thing I could ever say to anyone, and also myself, when you start your career and when you start anything really in your life, is that do not take everything so personally. Not everything is always about you. Everyone has a lot of things that they go through in their lives day to day. You don't know if they have a family matter going on. You don't know if they just had like a really bad day. So don't take everything so personally if someone comes off in a bad way. Always remember to stay positive and give someone the benefit of the doubt. Next, date men, not boys, okay? And also this goes for, every gender. Just try to date someone who's ready is really what I mean by that. So like date someone who's ready, not someone who's still playing around, okay? You don't got time for someone who's just playing around. I wish I would have known that many, many years ago. Work should never be your whole life. That's another one. That's another big one. When I started my career, work was my entire life. I worked out of my house back then too, but instead of closing my computer and stopping after 5, I just kept going. I would just work all hours of the night just to get things done. And You should never do that because your work-life balance matters. Next, speak up when things don't look or feel right. That was another thing early in my career that I just wasn't sure about. I would be waiting on promotions or waiting on things that I was being promised. I was being promised, this is going to happen. You're next in line. We're definitely going to get you promoted this quarter. And it would never happen. I just kept being put at bay and they were just trying to make me wait, and it didn't feel right. There was a lot of things that happened in my career that did not feel right. And I didn't know who to go to or who to talk to or what to do. And I'm here to tell you, speak up when those things don't look or feel right. That's what HR is for, okay? HR in your company is there for a reason. So go to them when things don't look or feel right. And that also goes for anything in your personal life too. If something doesn't look or feel right, speak up. Speak up because your worth matters. You matter. So make sure to stand up for yourself. Next, don't accept less than you deserve. So this goes for everything, okay? This isn't just career related. This is everything related. You are special. You are loved, and you are worth so much more than how some of these people in the world will make you feel. So do realize that you are worth it. Self-love is so important. Always make sure to put yourself first and that your needs are being met. And lastly, not everything needs to be a fight. Choose your battles, people. I am infamous or famous. I don't really know. I'm that person that I do like to get the last word. I hope Mom didn't hear that. She'll laugh for days. But yeah, choose your battles because not everything needs to be a fight. Really. Honestly, the older you get, the more you realize that a lot of things don't matter. You don't need to be fighting about silly things. So choose your battles and everything else, just let it go. Let it go. Let it go. There's more to this, I know. Listen to Adina Menzel. All right. So those are my advice, some of my main points that I want you to take away with things that I've learned from my 20s and things that I'm surely going to take into my 30s and make sure I stand by. Next week, we're going to elaborate further into what we've all learned in our 20s, and if you aren't there yet, what you can use as advice for your 20s. I am so excited, so definitely stay tuned. Like I said earlier, a few weeks ago when I was prepping for this podcast series, I sent out a question to some people, well, not some people, all the people on my Instagram and Facebook story, and it got a lot of great input, so I'm excited to share all of that with you next week on Tuesday. I hope you've enjoyed another episode of Cali Chats, and don't forget to check out listener support. You can find a link to support the Cali Chats podcast either on the podcast bio or episode bio on wherever you're streaming this podcast. Stay tuned. You'll get to hear more on next Tuesday. I hope you'll have a great rest of your week. I love you. Bye. If you enjoyed this podcast, please like, rate, review, and subscribe on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, or pretty much anywhere you can listen to podcasts. For more from Cali Chats, visit CaliCreates.com, or you can check us out on Facebook, Instagram, and TikTok. Everything is linked in the podcast bio. Talk to y'all later. Bye.